This show is brought to you by PivX, private instant verified transactions. With its groundbreaking zero coin staking and masternodes, PivX is the top privacy currency. Feel free to trade some on Binance or Bittrex, and for more information, go to www.pivex.org.
Hello and welcome to Token TV Plus with me, Tom White. CryptoAnt is with me as well as usual. And listen to this, we've got the founders of CMT, CryptoAnt and CrypTOB. Now, what on earth is happening? How come you three have all got crypto in your name and I don't? That doesn't seem fair to me.
We're gonna have to rename you to Crypto Tommy, I think.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. CryptoB and Crypto Tommy. That's got a good ring to it. But how are you two guys?
Very well, thank you. Very well. This is CryptoB, aka Lanre.
Yeah. CryptoAnt, you okay?
Perfect. Bank holiday Monday in the UK. So yeah, perfect day.
Ah. Fantastic, yeah. Shame when everyone's back at work at 9 in the morning, though, of course. Just tell us a little bit about your working backgrounds and how CMT came about.
Cool. I guess I'll go. So, CryptoAnt here. So, I grew up in London / Bedford, working banking, and yeah, I spent a bit of time. Playing around with crypto and what have you. Joined a few groups, and I think we were sitting there one day and going, Jesus, do you know what? Over the last year or so, there's been so many groups that I joined and had to have downloaded a different app for everything. And I think we were all sitting there one day, and I said, guys, why on earth have we got so many? And literally, it was from there that CMT was born. And I picked up the phone to CryptoC. I said, CryptoC, look, I've got an idea. And he sat back, listened, didn't say nothing at first. I said, what does that mean? He said, it's a good idea, and let's get it going. And that's where CryptoB got involved, and Romano, who's not obviously here at the minute, as well as Nick. But yeah, that was how we started.
Well, what I probably should have mentioned at the top, that CMT is Coin Market Talk. So just one of you, doesn't matter who, tell us more about it.
Yeah, I guess I can jump in here. I'll start with my background as well. Grew up in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. I'm an attorney, currently working out of Canada, and similar to Antony, we sort of got into crypto, and you go along with the flow. You join all the different Discords or Telegram channels. You sign up to and follow all the Twitter accounts. You're on Facebook. You're in Medium. You've got your Reddits, Bitcoin Talk, and YouTube. For the influencers. And just the amount of platforms and various channels I just mentioned should sort of get you to scratch your head if you're a new person coming into crypto, and you're constantly switching from one thing to another. And Coin Market Talk, at least when I heard the idea first from CryptoAnt, was something that put me back and said, you know what, if you're a new person and you've got one place where you can go, where you can be certain almost that the information you're getting is correct, it would be better. It would make for a better experience in crypto. It'll certainly push away some of the disinformation that is allowed to thrive because of this many platforms being involved and the fact that they're so different. And that's what attracted me to it. And really, in a simple sense, Coin Market Talk is really about bringing all these different platforms and the communities that exist under them under one platform, and finding a way to use that unity to have a better, really a sharper and a more trusted voice in crypto.
It's a great idea, because it can actually be quite daunting, can't it? Because so many people are interested in crypto, but when you try to find out more, there is just so much to get your head around. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. In CryptoC, is that something that, have you seen a change since Coin Market Talk came in?
I feel like the good thing about a service like CoinMarketTalk is that it gives people a kind of link into the various different platforms. So I think it's like kind of like a one-stop shop for people to go and socialize at the same time as learning not only the basics but some of the advanced things from other members of crypto community. So yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Something I'm quite interested to ask you guys actually is how much interest have you had from ICOs who want to host their trading channels in CMT?
Yeah, I guess I can answer that. So we've had some good conversation with ICOs, but we haven't actively sort of gone out there to speak to ICOs as yet, purely because we're just trying to set everything up. But the ICOs that we're already involved in, and we had conversation with them, think it's a great idea for them, especially from a legal perspective, because they like to have their main channel usually on Telegram, just because it's preference. But then they like to have a separate trading channel, and that's where CoinMarketTalk's kind of come into play, and that's the bit that they love about it. It's been able to have their trading channel through CoinMarketTalk. But as I said, we've had some good conversations with ICOs already, but at the minute we're just setting everything up, so we're hoping to add some of these guys in over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and talking about that, I mean, financially, how exciting is it to once this interest really steps up from ICOs? How exciting is that? Like, and I do mean financially.
Yeah, I can answer that as well. So I guess from us, it's I think initially when I come up with the idea, and then we started talking about it more and more around what we can do and what we can add and how we can really get CoinMarketTalk to take off. We sit there on our calls and we say to each other, we've got half an hour for a call, and it's an hour and a half, because that's how excited we are.
Yeah.
So I know for me, and you guys as well, is that my missus complains. She's like, "Ant, you said half an hour," and I'm like, another half hour. So I think that kind of shows how much fun we're having at the minute with it and how much work there is to do. But yeah, from a financial point of view, this is something that we set up not from a financial point of view, but it was initially there to add a service that's missing in the market at the moment.
Yeah, it sounds like it's certainly you're on the right track. It sounds like. How's the community managed, and I suppose who makes the decisions when it comes to project direction?
Yeah, that's something I can touch on here. We've set this up with the five of us, and what we really do on these calls, and the reason why they take so long is we try to make sure that there's consensus amongst everybody before we move in any direction. And what we've also seen happen is, because each of us have a varying amount of experience with crypto, there is sort of a natural place for each of us depending on what the decision is about, and that's great. That's really that really shows that gives our team so much of the depth that we would need as far as the technical side is concerned, but it also gives us the depth from the context of putting contracts together, reaching out to projects, as well as also which pace we should move at. And that's something that I believe a lot of new crypto projects in general need to step back and learn from. You don't always have to follow that same playbook where you launch your ICO or what have you, and you find a way to market yourself as quickly as possible, get onto Binance, and boof, there you go. It's really important to run your own race, and to make sure that the fundamentals are right, because at the end of the day, that's really the projects that have those fundamentals in place are the ones that are going to be here 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And as far as CoinMarketTalk is concerned, fundamental idea here is to build what we're trying to call a neighborhood that consists of these different communities. And while each of these communities are able to sort of grow by themselves, there is also strength in them being under one platform. And we think that's something that can serve crypto well. And obviously it would be great if it served us financially as well.
A lot of people listening will want to know if CMT is restricted to Discord only.
Discord is our home at the minute. You know, I've got to admit, you know, we played about with different platforms initially, and we knew Discord was where we wanted our home to be. You know, Discord's evolving. It's changing regularly. I mean, each time you guys log in, you'll see Discord's updated another bit of technology on their platform. So I don't see Discord going anywhere soon. It is our home, but it would be irresponsible of us not to have thought of another option. And I don't know if I can say any more than that, but you guys will have to keep tuned to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because the thing is, like, you know, the hypothetical situation is, you know, the channel could close down for whatever reason. I suppose you have to be one step ahead.
Indeed, and you're right. You know, and that's why, you know, that it's not our only option, but we want to make it clear it is our home for now. But yeah, we've definitely got some things planned. CB, can I say any more? I don't know. Can I say any more? We've got some things planned, right? You know, this has definitely been a conversation. We're not one of these guys that relied on one exchange and then suddenly the exchange kicks you off and then you're in trouble. So hopefully we're sure we're not going that way.
Well, that brings me on to asking kind of what other services, you know, CMT offers.
Right. So, I mean, one of the things that I was referring to when I talked about running your own race really relates to setting out what it is you want to achieve. So presently, you know, as CryptoAnt mentioned, we've reached out and we're in talks with a couple of channels, a couple of communities to discuss how they can separate themselves from their trading channel. Right. So, just as background, that is important because some of these projects, you know, I find a lot of projects actually weave trading and exchange and price talk into their main channels. And, you know, while there's not an immediate crackdown on that, anyone looking into the crypto space, you know, with some enough background of how regular financial rules work, know that you're running a risk there in you know, your token being treated as a security. So what some prudent and sort of conservative channels are doing is saying, hey, we know there's a need for a price talk, so we'll have a separate channel for that, and we'll just have a different organization run that for us. So that's sort of the first toe that we're dipping into the deep end of the pool here. And then moving forward, what we've done is internally we've set up a relatively large, ambitious, lengthy roadmap. And what we intend to do is really just share that with the community bit by bit. And so this initial reaching out to trading channels will be the first part. And, you know, before I over talk too much, I'll let CryptoAnt add a little extra to it as much as he would like to.
Yeah, look, I think it's always important about saying, you know, there are other services that are going to be added, you know, such as, you know, we're looking at maybe doing like a CMT shop where you can kind of get all the crypto sort of caps, you know, for the different projects, ad bank, PIVX, etc. At a one-stop venue, you know, because at the end of the day is that it's something that new crypto projects are really struggling with. And it's things like that we're going to be doing. But like Thierry said, we've got a roadmap coming. We're just looking to see how and where we put things just to make sure it's achievable in a time span we're putting out there. And what we don't want to do is overhype something. So we're really passionate about making sure that when we're saying we're going to do something, we're committing to it and making sure we deliver on time. But yeah, you know, the crazy thing is that Coin Market Talk is as much our project as the community. So, you know, if people out there suddenly tell us they want to see this or they want to see that, we're open. And that's a great thing about our projects is that we're open to having those conversations and seeing where we can take it.
Well, we've not heard from CryptoAnts for a while. CryptoAnts, just like explain what has particularly made you so interested in speaking to CryptoB and CryptoAnt.
I think one of the things which hasn't actually been touched on is when we talk about a project's distribution or the distribution of ownership. So we'll say with something like Coin Market Talk, it's going to be eventually it's going to be something that people not only participate in, but they can actually own a portion of that neighborhood, as we call it. And I think that the fact that the roadmap is not out yet, and the fact that things are not being rushed, but yet still the community is being built, or the neighborhood even is being built, because there are multiple communities being built on CoinMarketTalk, including our own, including Token TVs. So I think the fact that they're doing these things in this order and not in the typical ICO money grab order will mean that by the time they do decide to create some form of token, if it even goes that way, but by the time they do move on to that step, the distribution will be so far and wide, because the community itself will be huge, that I think it will be unrivaled by anything else in terms of fair distribution, other than perhaps ICOS, which had like a year's worth of ICO. So I think that's one thing that the guys haven't touched on. That is it's a massive part of the entire project, and it's another reason to kind of get over to CoinMarketTalk now and start meeting the guys and like kind of get your feet under the table and get a feel for how things are working over there and how crypto communities kind of get along before the mad rush for everybody to come in and try to make some sort of profit, I guess would be the best way to put it.
Does that sound accurate to you too?
Yeah, I think Chris shared more than what I was going to share, so it's all right. But yeah, no, definitely. You know what? Look, let's be open and honest. Is that we see this going that far, and I think we're just really just setting up our shop and just preparing until we get to that stage. And when we do, wow, we are going to be in such good shape that. We're going to be ready to kick something off and share it with the community so they can be part of it as well. So, yeah, joining early just means that they can be part of the journey with us.
Yeah, if there's one thing I thought you would have learned by now, it's that CryptoC cannot keep a secret. So never ever, never ever trust him with one.
I am sorry. I apologize.
All good.
That's all good.
A question that we ask all of our guests on Token TV Plus is the one that our listeners are always so interested in what everybody has to say about this, because everybody is asking it, is where do you think crypto will be in a year's time? Or you can go to a longer time scale if you like.
I'll go first here, B, then. Yeah, where do I think it'll be? 12 months. I see us breaking that billion mark. I see more investors coming in. People at the minute are all telling me, crypto's is crypto dying? Is Bitcoin dying? And I just sit there and kind of put my hands in my head in my hands and go, hey, where were we at like this time last year? What was Bitcoin's price this time last year? So, we're still growing. I don't think crypto is going anywhere. I do think that in markets such as these, it's going to shake down, coins that aren't doing anything, but unfortunately we'll shake down some good coins. But I think that, another 12 months from here, we're just going to see the market cap move and move and move, and we're going to see some new all-time highs. Crypto is definitely here to stay. And I think, there'll be more and more companies getting involved, with the blockchain technology as well as crypto, because a lot of companies are aware of blockchain, but maybe not aware of crypto, which is kind of, when you're on crypto, you find that really weird. But hey, I definitely do think there's going to be a wider adoption for crypto in the next 12 months.
What do you think, CryptoB?
Yeah, I would agree. I'm just based on how I'm wired. I'm very, very history centric, and when I look at what the blockchain is, and you'll find articles out there that discuss what I'm about to mention, you'll really see that the blockchain is at its base a form of accounting, right? Like, so what we have is we've always had like a single entry accounting, like 5,000 years ago, and then eventually that became obsolete, because I could obviously give you an asset and then you can turn around and do whatever you want with it, because I'm the only one who's registered what that asset is and who owns it. That gave birth to double entry accounting, where now I know I own this asset, I know I gave it to you, and you have that written somewhere as well. And because we had the press, we could, translate and spread that information to as many people as possible, so other people knew who owned the asset and who was borrowing it. And really, if you look at what the blockchain is, it really is just the next sort of evolution of that. It's really a triple entry accounting, which is where I know I own an asset, I know I've sent it to you, but then anybody anywhere in the world, without the press or without necessarily needing a third party that to trust, can really go in and say, hey, that is true, CryptoAnts owned that asset, he only leased it to Tommy or to whoever. And people don't realize that each time these types of sort of accounting tech jumps happen, there's always a huge boom as far as the economy is concerned, because I mean it happened 5,000 years ago. It happened when double entry accounting came in, and I think it's going to happen again now that we've got triple entry accounting. You've got people saying that something like the Enron crash wouldn't have happened if sort of tech like we have with the blockchain was around, just because enough people would have seen it coming. So just without going into crypto and alts and all of that, just the underlying concept of what a blockchain is truly revolutionary, and I think it'll change how business is done. It'll change how companies interact with each other, but also with their customers. And then when you take it to the next level and you bring it more to the micro level, really I'm starting to see scarcity in some of the bigger coins. I think it's going to become harder to obtain your Bitcoins and ultimately your Ethereums, even your EOSs, and so I would just say stock up while you can, because the time is going to arrive when I think we even cross the $1 billion mark and go higher. I won't pin that to a specific time frame here, but I think it's coming. And those of us in it now and participating now and learning now really have a lot to look forward to.
Have you all noticed in, let's say, the last 12 months, a change in attitude towards cryptocurrency? Do you think there was maybe people didn't believe in it and thought it would just go away, who are now far more interested in it and want to know more than maybe a year ago? Have you seen a change in the last year?
I have. What I have seen is a change, and this is speaking from someone who came into crypto, I would say, a little less than a year ago. So I'm probably the newest of the newbie here in the group. But what I found in this sort of 10, 11 month period is the average person has come in, and a lot of them have also gone away. They've been attracted in because of the price, and prices were going up, and there was money to be made. But what I see happening, especially in the past 6 months, is an increased interest from a lot of existing sort of established institutions like the banks of the world, the larger corporations. They're becoming very interested. Just take a look out there and look at how many exchanges are popping up that are backed by big banks all across the world. Take a look at some of the large, the biggest 500 companies in the US, and look at how many blockchain-based intellectual properties they're applying for. It's happening in the background. People aren't seeing it. It isn't immediately translating into a high price, but that shift from the average man looking to make a buck to the larger corporations taking critical positions is what I'm witnessing over the past say 12 months.
Yeah, have any of the other two kind of noticed anything significant in the last year or so?
Yeah, CryptoAnt. So yeah, I think over the last 12 months, you talk to people 12 months ago about crypto, and it's like, what's crypto? What's Bitcoin? Oh yeah, it's fake money. And that's what I used to get all the time. It's quite funny. A lot of those people that said to me, "Oh, it's fake money," suddenly it got towards the end of last year where you saw more and more media outlets talking about crypto, Bitcoin, etc. And towards its all-time high. Suddenly they got interested. So what I would say in the last 12 months, I've seen a lot more emotion in crypto than I ever have. You've seen people investing at all-time highs and losing. I've seen people getting some crazy returns. So for me, I think it's really about the emotions I've seen over the last several months. It's crazy, and a lot of people are experiencing possibly for their first time a crash, and you know, and you know, you see people cut up about it, but they're talking about it more than ever. You know, you go into coffee shops and out in London, near where I live, and people are talking about Bitcoin. You wouldn't have seen that 12 months ago. You know, I see people on their laptop playing about on Binance, etc. You know, never seen that before. So for me, yeah, I think it's getting more adopted, and I do feel that, yeah, as TOB said, there's more exchanges coming on, more people are finding out about it. You know, companies are getting involved more in blockchain than ever before, and I wouldn't say there's less sort of negativity around crypto, but there's arguments on the other side now coming through. You know, there's people saying, you know, crypto's used for legal reasons, and they're kind of, now people are kind of going, but so is cash. You know, before people didn't have answers to that.
Right.
So big difference.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you've put that quite nicely. This is always a more difficult question to answer. But if you had to go all in on a project, which would it be? Only projects that have been released.
Wow.
Obviously, guys, I have to state this before you answer. I have to state this. We do understand, me and Crypto Tommy do understand that going all in on a single project is a little bit crazy, but this is just hypothetical. So yeah, which one?
We do get some interested answers to this one, so no pressure.
Well, let me say this, because I'm not sure exactly when CryptoAnt got into crypto, but like I mentioned, I got in about 10, 11 months ago. So I've been very emotional over the past 10 months. So I can put it at different spots. When I came into crypto, then, you know, it was a different place at the time, and the amount of ICOs that were out there was just ridiculous. That said, at that point in time, I did go. The first project I went into, which I'm also connected to now, is AdBank, and that'd be what I'd say. So AdBank would be my main, it would be my go-to. Now, the landscape has changed since November and December, and you know, we're in August now, and it's interesting because no other industry, no other asset class goes this fast. You know, it's ridiculous. So crypto is very different now. So I would look at other projects like for instance like Blockport. I'm very interested in exchanges. I think they some of them are, a lot of them are not great, but some of them have the potential to increase adoption, and that's really what I think is important for all of us. It's getting crypto into more people's hands. I remember one of the interviews I looked at with the CMO of AdBank. He was mentioning that he was going to give people crypto for Christmas. You know, so just send someone, 0.3 ETH, and they'll start caring about crypto because now they have some, versus telling them to go read about some article somewhere. So, I don't know. Depending on the time you came in, I would go with AdBank and possibly Blockport.
And CryptoAnt, you're not getting out of this CryptoAnt, so on you go.
So, as COB said, no, just joking. So, yeah, for me, look, for people who know me out there, know that I'm really passionate about AdBank, as is TOB, and that's fun enough how I met TOB. You know, I'm an admin in their channel, purely because I love their project. You know, for me, if I had new money and I was putting it in, it would go into AdBank for sure. A lot of people go to me, but you know, they've plummeted. And you know what, the price has gone down so much more. But the whole bit for me is about a project and what it's achieving to do, the team behind it. I met Angela and Kelsey in London last year. If you want to see two motivated people, they are them. You know, and for me, they're an awesome set of guys. You know, 60% of, I read somewhere, and I think I posted it in CMT last week, 60% of projects out there in the top 100 have no working product. AdBank does, and it's starting to solve a real life problem. So for me, AdBank, cutting out the middleman, is the one that I would go all in. You know, and so much so, I'm mostly living and breathing it by being an admin in their channel, purely because, you know, I want to bring more people in. I want people to know about AdBank, because I just think it's got massive potential. And you know what, the greediness in me mostly is that I I like investing in small market cap coins that have got huge potential, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
So, I'm extremely excited to see what these guys have got going on in the next few months as well.
Well, we got out of them in the end, CryptoAnts, didn't we?
Yeah. We managed to squeeze an answer out of the both of them. Well done. Good job.
Well, great to speak to you both, lads. Where else can people go to find out more about yourselves at CMT? Have you got any sort of Twitter following or anything like that?
So I'll answer that. So yeah, our Facebook page is up and running. So just type in Coin Market Talk. The website's literally being worked on as we speak. Twitter will be released at the same time as the website. So next couple of weeks we'll have that all up and running. But Facebook for now has got our link direct to our Discord page.
Discord.
Right. Fantastic. Yeah. Well, great to speak to you two. Absolute pleasure to have you on. And,
cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, and make sure you come back on the show, in the next year or so, and we want to know how you're getting on.
Perfect. Thank you.
We will do.
Looking forward to it.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Cheers. Bye.
This show is brought to you by PivX Private Instant Verified Transactions. With its groundbreaking zero coin staking and masternodes, PivX is the top privacy currency. Feel free to trade some on Binance or Bittrex. And for more information, go to www.pivex.org.